The F-14 Tomcat, developed by Grumman in the early 1970s for the U.S. Navy, is one of the most iconic fourth-generation jet fighters. It was the first in the series of advanced U.S. fighters of that era, including the F-15, F-16, and F-A-18, which would dominate the airspace for decades. Though its production was relatively modest with 712 units built, its technological innovations and versatile combat capabilities made it legendary. The development of the F-14 began due to a significant threat posed by Soviet bombers and anti-ship missiles in the 1950s and 1960s. These Soviet developments necessitated a fighter with superior air defense capabilities for the U.S. Navy. The earlier tactical fighter experimental TFX program resulted in the F-111, but this aircraft proved unsatisfactory for naval aviation due to its weight and unsuitability for dogfighting. The F-111B variant, designed for naval operations, also fell short, leading to the creation of the Navy's new VFX program, from which the F-14 emerged. The F-14's design is characterized by its distinctive variable sweep wing, which allows the wing's angle to adjust between 20 degrees and 68 degrees depending on flight speed. This configuration provided the Tomcat with superior maneuverability at lower speeds and the ability to fly at supersonic speeds for extended ranges. The aircraft also has twin vertical tails and a dual-engine layout, which contributed to its stability and control. The wing design was a significant advancement, enhancing both aerodynamics and survivability. Initially, the F-14 was powered by two Pratt & Whitney TF30 afterburning turbofan engines, which allowed it to reach speeds of Mach 2.3. However, these engines had reliability issues, causing a notable percentage of operational accidents. Eventually, the Tomcat was re-equipped with more reliable General Electric F-110 engines, which not only improved performance but also increased the F-14's thrust-to-weight ratio, giving it better climb rates and acceleration. The F-14 was primarily designed as an air superiority fighter, with the ability to carry a heavy payload of air-to-air missiles. Its primary weapon was the AIM-54 Phoenix, a long-range missile capable of hitting targets up to 200 kilometers away. The F-14 could carry 6 AIM-54s, making it one of the most formidable interceptors of its time. It also carried AIM-7 Sparrow and AIM-9 Sidewinder missiles for medium and short-range engagements, alongside a 20mm M61 Vulcan cannon for close-range combat. Its avionics suite was cutting-edge for the time, featuring a pulse Doppler radar, infrared sensors, and digital communication systems. The F-14's Central Air Data Computer was also one of the first aircraft to utilize a microprocessor, a significant leap in avionics technology. Although the F-14 was designed to defend the U.S. Navy's fleets by intercepting Soviet bombers, its combat debut came during the Gulf of Sidra incident in 1981, where two F-14s successfully engaged and shot down two Libyan Su-22 jets. Throughout its service, the F-14 saw limited combat, including roles in the Gulf War, where it was used primarily for reconnaissance and air superiority missions. The Tomcat's real-world use of the Phoenix missile was limited, with very few engagements in combat. The F-14 faced several challenges throughout its service. Its initial engines, the TF-30s, were prone to failure, and even after being replaced, the aircraft remained complex and expensive to operate. The Phoenix missile, while capable, was also extremely costly, which reduced its usage during training, limiting the practical experience of many pilots. Furthermore, while it excelled at air-to-air combat, the Tomcat was not initially designed for ground attack missions, limiting its versatility compared to newer multi-role fighters like the F-A-18 Hornet. Several upgrades were made to the F-14 over its service life. The F-14A was the initial production version, followed by the F-14A Plus, later renamed F-14B, which featured improved engines. The final and most advanced variant, the F-14D Super Tomcat, introduced upgraded avionics, radar, and cockpit displays. The F-14D also incorporated ground attack capabilities, expanding its role in the Navy's fleet. However, despite these upgrades, the F-14 remained costly, and with the introduction of more versatile and cost-effective fighters like the F-A-18, the Tomcat was eventually phased out. The F-14 was retired from U.S. Navy service in 2006, but its legacy lives on. It remains one of the most iconic jet fighters due in part to its role in the 1986 film Top Gun, where it became a cultural symbol of American air superiority. The only other country to operate the F-14 was Iran, which purchased 79 aircraft before the 1979 revolution. Despite the cessation of U.S. support, Iran continues to operate the F-14, using it in various conflicts, including the Iran-Iraq War.